Welcome to Losing a Child, Always Andy's Mom. On this podcast, we journey through the devastating experience of the death of a child. Grief is seldom discussed openly in our culture, and the death of a child makes people feel even more uncomfortable. We approach the topic openly and honestly, speaking to people who have lost loved ones and experts who help care for them. Whether you are a parent experiencing loss or someone who wants to support another going through this tragedy, this podcast strives to offer hope and help.
Welcome to episode number 350 of Losing a Child, Always Andy's Mom. I'm Marcy Larson, Andy's mom. Today, I have the absolute pleasure to introduce you to Kelly. Kelly is the mom of Darius, and I am really excited to introduce you to what she's done since her son Darius has died. So we obviously talk about Darius, what an amazing guy he was, and just all about their life. But then we go into what she's done in her grief. And you know how we've talked about recently about finding a new purpose in life and having your child all wrapped up in it? Well, Kelly has done just that. She has created an amazing organization, and Darius is just all wrapped up in it. So you will hear all about timely presence and how to learn more about that when we get to that point. But just know that you're just going to love it, because I certainly do. I also want to take the moment to talk about a sponsor. So this week we are sponsored by Dana. So Dana actually gives a monthly donation. So I so appreciate those monthly donations. It's nice to know you have a little constant source of income. But Dana is sponsoring this week every year in memory of her son Brogan's birthday. So this year Brogan would be 17 years old, which is just hard for any of us to really wrap our heads around. She wanted to say to Brogan, happy 17th birthday in heaven, Brogan. I miss you so much and can't wait to see you again. I just want to give a special shout out to Dana, because Dana has been really an amazing part of my life now too. And, you know, I've talked quite a bit about the Starlight Ministry support groups that I do. She's my co-facilitator for the group that I do on Tuesday mornings. We are now off for the summer, but if you're interested in doing some of those for the fall, go to starlightmen.org and look there. But really today we want to honor Brogan, especially because his birthday happens to fall on a Thursday, on a release day. So happy birthday in heaven, Brogan, from your mom, from your whole family, and from all of us here at the Always Andy's Mom podcast. If you would like to sponsor an episode in your child's memory or the memory of another child, you can feel free to go to the donate page at andysmom.com. On that, you can donate monthly like Dana, or you can give a one-time donation of $125. So all of that is really appreciated. Right now, though, I just want you to sit back and enjoy listening to Kelly, Darius's mom. Thank you so much, Kelly, for agreeing to come on the Always Andy's Mom podcast today.
I am so grateful for the opportunity to sit and talk to you about our boys and
I know.
what we've done in their honor.
I know. I am too. I'm really looking forward to hearing about Darius, because I have heard a little bit about what you're doing now, which I love, love, love. I already told you that. But I don't know a lot about Darius. So this is my opportunity to learn kind of with the audience about your son. So do you want to start out by just talking about him?
Sure. So Darius Anthony, oh my goodness. So he is my oldest child. And what's so unique about our relationship is that we grew up together. So I married very young, and I had Darius at 18.
Oh, wow. You were a baby.
So I learned all the things, including how to be an adult, with him. And so he took this life ride with me.
Yeah.
Was rambunctious from the beginning. So he was actually born with a benign tumor on his scalp. And
Okay.
so when we were ready to leave the hospital, a neonatologist came in and said, "We are not sure what this is. We're not ready to release him." So he had to stay in a low-level NICU. He had to stay in a NICU. At 18, that's just at any age, it's devastating, right? But it
Yeah.
was unexpected. And a few months later, he had surgery
Okay.
and became sick. The wound was infected. He was septic, so he was admitted to the pediatric ICU.
Wow.
So early, 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 we had these kind of very scary events. And that experience is actually what caused me to be a nurse.
Really?
Yeah. The team that took care of him was so amazing.
Uh-huh.
Here he was, so sick. I am so young and so scared. And because his wound was infected, they had to open it to his skull. So he's 8 months old, learning to move, learning to stand up and move
Oh my word.
with a hole in his head.
Oh my gosh.
And the nurses from the pediatric trauma burn ICU came over and dressed his head every day.
Uh-huh.
And I said, what they did for him, right? These scary people coming with bandages and scissors and what they did for me at the same time is really what inspired me to become a nurse. So Darius is really the reason that I ended up becoming a nurse.
So Darius made you a mama and then he made you a nurse, really?
Some things.
Yes, that's awesome. I love that.
Listen, he was resilient. He rebounded from that and was fine. All of childhood was completely fine. In fact, a bit of a class clown. He filled the energy in every room.
Uh-huh.
He was the one kid that I often had to talk to teachers just because he was the clown, right? Oh, he talks a bit too much. He's a little too social. He was that kid. So he was a party and a person is,
Mhm.
is what I'll say. And at 18, just after graduation, the other kids called me and said, something's wrong with D. Something's wrong. What do you
Because how
mean?
many
We
kids
can't.
did you end up having?
I had three total.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, yeah.
So they said something's wrong with him. He won't wake up. He's making sounds, but he won't really wake up. I said, okay, I'm on my way home. And then my youngest son called back and said, he's foaming at the mouth. I said, well, call 911. I
Yeah.
will meet them in the ER. And so at 18, he was diagnosed with epilepsy.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a surprising time to be diagnosed.
it's surprising. But I have since met probably a dozen people with the same story. Very
Really?
odd. Yeah,
Yeah.
very
Yeah, it is
odd.
odd. Uh-huh.
He was diagnosed at 18, so prime of his life.
Yeah, right. Right.
Difficult to manage. The drugs make you feel different.
Yeah.
So a little lethargic, maybe a little confused.
Yeah. You're just not as sharp a lot of times on them. Hmm.
So it took us a few years.
Mental dulling, they would say. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
And then it's got to be hard at that age too, because, he's used to being able to drive and starting to get a little more independence and all of that. And I assume that has gone away, right? He couldn't drive.
That's right.
I mean, usually you can't unless you've been
Yeah,
seizure free for 6 months is what the rule is here in Michigan. So
that's exactly right.
I think so. Yeah, it's very difficult time to go through that.
And he'd been, to use his words, I've always been normal,
Yeah, right.
right? And so at that age to be now markedly different
Yeah.
was a bit of a change. So we had a few years of managing through that
Uh-huh.
until we found the right drug, the right regimen, the right
Yeah.
thing for him. And so he was a little later going to college,
Mhm.
all of that, but decided that he wanted to be a realtor.
Okay.
He wanted to really help first-time home buyers. That was his dream.
Oh, that's cool.
It is. And so that's what he did. He worked specifically with populations that were often the first homeowner in their family.
Wow. Okay.
And so he really changed the trajectory of people's lives. He went to school. He became an employee at the college that he went to.
Uh-huh.
Really being involved in community work and giving back. And then he worked for first time home owners and was thriving, com- completely thriving. Had bought his first home and was preparing to flip it.
Uh-huh.
So a young entrepreneur in the making, just with a complete zest for life. That's just, he was, he would often say he was a kid that read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And, how he was just very interested in making a dent in the universe.
Yeah.
He wanted to do that, but he wanted to do that with the goal of like social continuity and taking care of other people. And so
Mhm.
that really was the vision for who he loved people from the beginning. He loved people and wanted to find a way to help them.
What a great sounding guy. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. A super cool kid.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Everyone loved him. No enemies, right? One of those
Yeah.
kids that everyone loved.
Mhm. Mhm. And so you said he was in the midst of flipping his own house or flipping his
Yes.
first house?
Yes, he had just bought it and was preparing with his dad to start the work. His dad has experience with carpentry, and they were going to,
Yeah.
begin offering housing to people. So he was just thrilled about this opportunity.
Yeah, I'm sure. And he was going to get it ready for, I'm sure, a first-time home buyer, right?
That's right. That's
Perfect.
right. Yeah.
Perfect.
A giver.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
giver.
Sounds like it. Sounds like it for
Mhm.
sure. So do you want to talk about a little bit about what happened to Darius now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was 28.
Uh-huh.
His younger brother had just moved out. So my husband and I were actually celebrating being empty nesters.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And we had went on a 10-day cruise. I'll have to give this call out. We are major Ohio State fans. Major. And
Not cool to say that to a Michigander, I have to say. Fortunately, I'm not a University of Michigan person. We are Michigan State people, but still, very bold of you to say that.
it's in the DNA. I don't
I
know. There's
know. I
something
think
in
so.
the water.
I know. For those of you who are not familiar, not from Michigan and Ohio, there's a bit of a rivalry there, and that there was even a war between Michigan and Ohio that actually, somewhat existed. So it goes back a long way. So I'm just saying, she's being bold. She's being bold here.
Role play. So we were going to a huge bowl game. And so
Uh-huh.
we were going on this cruise ship with dozens of Ohio State fans to watch. And so end of the year cruise, 10 days. And 5 days into the cruise, we went to Mexico.
Okay.
My husband and I went around and created our own tequila tasting tour. We had an amazing day. And we came back to our cabin to take a nap before dinner. And his phone started ringing kind of incessantly.
Your
And
husband's phone? Yeah.
mhm,
Okay.
he can sleep through anything. I am a nurse. I've been on call all my life. So
Yeah.
I wake up.
Uh-huh.
Then my phone rang and then the text came. So I went across the room and it was my younger son, Mason. And when I answered it, I knew something was wrong immediately.
Yeah.
And he had my puppy, my golden doodle puppy. And I said, "What happened to Zeus?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Mom, I don't know how to tell you this." And I I think about the burden this
Yeah.
young
Yeah.
young adult, right? 22 years old had. And he said, Darius is dead.
Yeah.
What? What?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean he's dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, he died last night in his sleep.
Yeah.
He didn't show up to work. And so his girlfriend went over, his job called her. She went over and found him in the bed. So he had had a seizure
Yeah.
overnight in his sleep and had passed away. So then the thought that the entire day my husband and I had spent
Yeah.
in Mexico having a wonderful day and he was gone, it just was such
Yeah.
a disconnect. I felt a bit of I'll say guilt that I didn't inherently know
Yeah. Right.
that something was off, right? That he was gone. And so that really, I mean, it is before January 3rd, 2023 and after January 3rd, 2023.
Yeah.
There really is a divide
Yeah.
in my life. And so, we were on a cruise ship surrounded by vacationers.
Yeah.
Took us a couple of days to dock.
Yeah.
And so, just the whole experience of being there away from my other children.
Yeah. I mean, just so horrible.
And just, yeah, it just was a really, really difficult time.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. And then you get to dock and then you've got to try to get home as quickly as you
That's right.
can. And I mean, so devastating. And that's just such a hard thing too. I've spoken to lots of parents whose children have died from sudden unexplained death and epilepsy is what they call it, SUDEP. And you just can't understand it, I think. I don't, so oftentimes the kids' seizures are under good control and you don't think about this happening, right? Yeah.
As a nurse, right?
Yeah.
The guilt around it
Yeah.
was so intense initially because we didn't grow up with him having seizures.
Yeah.
So it's that risk. Typically older people don't die at the same rate that younger people do of SUDEP. They
Right.
just don't.
Yeah. Right.
And so, I didn't think about that risk, right? We didn't
Right.
think about mitigation strategies and
Well, and this is the thing too. I mean, I have often wondered because a lot of times parents don't really know that that's like a thing that could even really
Mhm.
happen. And then I think, would it have been better to know? Because maybe
Mhm.
not. I mean,
Mhm.
there's nothing you could have done differently,
Right.
really. I mean,
Right.
it just happens and no one really knows why. That's why it's called sudden unexplained death and epilepsy because it just happens. I do have a patient in my practice who had a type of seizure that put her at higher risk for
Mhm.
SUDEP. And then she was given the option of having surgery or not, but it was in a very delicate part of the brain that would give some lasting sequelae for having the surgery. And because, of course, I've spoken to so many people whose kids have died from SUDEP, I felt like I had to recommend, you know, doing the surgery because I couldn't not, you know, but a lot of people don't know.
You go now.
They don't have any idea. And they weren't given that, information like this family was given. And lots of people's seizure focus is not in a place where you can have surgery on it at all anyway.
Right.
So
Right.
risky or no, but it's so difficult.
It really is. There's a big public health knowledge gap around
Yeah.
it. That
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah. But again, I feel like it's this struggle on whether the neurologists want to say this could
Yeah.
happen to
Yeah.
families or not. Because
Yeah.
do you want to live with that fear every
Right.
single night, knowing this could
Right.
be the day they don't wake up? I don't know that you want to live like that
Right.
either. I mean, what do you say to that?
The only thing, and so hindsight's 2020. Darius was a huge dog lover.
Yeah.
And I think about what if he had had a dog, a
Oh, right.
service dog that could have, rang the alarm earlier. Would that have made a difference? Do the dogs turn them? Do the dogs hit a 911 button? I will never know if that would have made a difference for him, but it's something in my mind that I've thought we had even talked about it at one point. He had a
Hmm.
dog that died. We talked about replacing it with a service dog, but the process was long. It was super intense. And
Well, and it's hard to know if it would have made a difference, like you said,
right,
because there are
right.
some that they just really suddenly die and nothing you could have done
That's right.
could have changed anything at all. So
That's
that's
right.
hard to know,
That's
you
right.
know?
And so the reality is I've had to move past what we
Yeah.
could have done
Yep.
and move towards remembering
Yeah.
what a beautiful soul I
Yeah.
was graced to have for 28
For
years,
28
right?
years. Yeah.
Just I was I was a kid when we met
Yeah. Right.
and a real live adult on the other side. And I got to see him transform into this man that was absolutely, I have to tell you, at his funeral,
Yeah.
we did an open mic, right? I wanted people to be able to come up and share things about, because that is healing for me, hearing great things
Uh-huh.
about
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Hmm.
And so we had an open mic. And so this group, this kind of eclectic group of people I'd never seen before, four of them walk up to the front and you're going, who are these people? And I'm
Yeah.
looking at his father. I'm like, do you know them? Right. And he's no, no, no. And so they start speaking, and they are employees from the college that he attended and worked at. He was a student and an employee. And he was the first recipient at this college of an award called the Visionary Dreamer Award.
Uh-huh.
So he had gotten that in 2021. And at the event, at the funeral, they informed us that they were renaming the award in his honor. So they stood in front of the church and let us know that they were renaming that award in his honor.
Oh my word. You're just bringing tears to my eyes.
Oh,
That's
it
so
just
beautiful.
was. And that we would be able to partake in that ceremony every year. And the ceremony was going to be 2 weeks later.
Oh
So
my.
it was such a, when I left the funeral, because he lived in Ohio, he still lived in Ohio. We've moved to Florida.
Uh-huh.
When I left, it felt like the rituals that around his death weren't over because we were coming back in 2 weeks. And
Yeah.
so it really made departing feel like I wasn't saying goodbye. I know, no, that's a little difficult to understand, but it made
Oh, it makes
leaving,
sense to me. Yeah.
yeah, because we were coming back in 2 weeks for this beautiful event.
And you were coming back for something to honor him, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
And it gets a little bit of his spirit is still living then with that award in his name. It's beautiful. I understand
It's
perfectly. Oh,
it just was so good. Now, oh, 2 weeks later, it was in Ohio, so we flew back
yeah.
and we had a snowstorm.
Yeah.
So, so the event was canceled, which was a whole other thing.
Oh no. Oh
Uh,
no.
uh,
That would be
so
devastating.
completely, I have to tell you, leaving Ohio after that award was canceled,
Yeah.
that was probably the toughest thing that I had put all of my hope was there,
Yeah.
right? And so,
I tell you, I can 100% understand. So Andy died August 15th, 2018. The choir he was sang in the Grand Rapids Choir of Men and Boys. Oh, I should mention this. So at the very end of the episode, if you listen all the way to the end, the boy singing at the end is Andy. It is Andy singing a solo for the Grand Rapids Choir of Men and Boys. I recently was emailed by someone who said she did not know that that was Andy. So I'm clearly not doing a good job of announcing that anymore. I used to say it more often, but that's Andy singing. So anyway, he sang in that choir for years. His brother still sang in the choir, and the choir director told me that he wanted to make an Andy Larson memorial concert. And so I put so much of my, you know, self into that concert. I went, it was supposed to be in March of 2020. We went, we sold the tickets that St. John's Choir was coming from England. I mean, it was a big deal. I went on every news station promoting this. We sent out postcards. We did all this. I was so stressed about, selling the tickets. We completely sold out the concert. And then COVID hit. And 5 days before the concert happened, the government in the UK said there were 5 cases in the US by that point in time, 2 of which I think were in California. Their tour was supposed to also go through California. They canceled the tour. Well, they told them if they went on a tour to the United States, because there was COVID in the United States, they would have to quarantine all the kids for 2 weeks and they couldn't go to school. And so they would then miss a month of school. So they canceled. And it devastated me. I mean, it just,
Yes.
I was just crushed. I mean, put so much of that. So I so understand that when you, like, this is for your kid,
That's right.
And it didn't happen then for 2.5 years. COVID obviously went on forever after that. And I so regret, it was all that. At the time, it was like, oh, it's just a couple of weeks. We do this and everything will be fine, which of course it wasn't. It was really hard. So I totally understand that.
Really hard.
Right?
And unlike the funeral, the ceremony that you do at the end of life, which is so important, that is, regardless of what you do, it's so death focused, right?
Yeah.
This is so life focused.
Yes.
So like, who you, not the sadness that you're gone, but like the beauty that you were, that you are, that you existed. And
it was Andy's favorite choir, right? That choir coming from
yes,
England, from Cambridge.
yes.
And it was perfect. It was perfect. And then it was just, now we did have them now last year. So they did finally come this many years later, five years later, but still at the time it was crushing.
Rushing. And so like you, we've been able to do it since, right? So we had it this year and last year, but I really needed it.
Yeah.
And didn't have it. And it was another loss.
It was 100%. It was a loss. It was 100% a loss for you because you really put so much into it. Like, this is going to happen and this is going to be a way to honor him. And like you said, a happy moment, unlike what had been happening. Yeah.
So now I look at it and I'm just so grateful. I mean, how wonderful is it that he has this award that's named after him? And
yes,
every year this student gets to be recognized. And the young man who received it this year, his name was Lucky. And God, he had done all this research on Darius, and it's like he knew him when I met him, and just so grateful to the school for that.
Yeah.
And every year some professor comes to me and says, I knew Darius. He was such a kid of impact. And it just is,
it warms your mama's heart.
it's like salve to my soul. Yeah, I love January. Right, he died in January, and this event's in January, and the timing of those two things for me, that balance, is just so important. So important.
Yeah. Love that.
I failed to mention Darius was born on Christmas Day.
Oh my.
So
you failed to mention that. That's what a Christmas present for an 18-year-old.
What a gift. Right. What a gift. So I say that all the time. He
was your best Christmas gift. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, he
Yeah.
came in as a present. He made an announcement. The world was going to celebrate his day. What?
Yeah. Well, why don't you talk to me now about your grief journey and what you've been doing? Because I love what you're doing now, but let's go back to kind of your grief journey and how that all started.
Yeah. So we've talked a little bit about that January.
Yeah.
He died on the 3rd. We had the services, the whole thing with the school event. And so after all that, I really went into a cocoon, right?
Yeah.
I have to tell you, having good people around you. I have a dear friend, and she doesn't have experience with loss. She doesn't work in this space, but she said to me early on, because, I work in a big health system. I got probably hundreds of cards from people,
Mhm.
gifts, and I began to feel burdened that I needed to write thank you notes to, and I
Yes. Oh,
remember
I feel ya.
she called me and she said, "Are you nuts?" And she said, "Your son died. Everyone who sent you flower, a plant, they did it because they care about you. And if any of them expect you right now while you're out on bereavement leave, for you to be looking up their addresses and getting stamps and do envelopes, then they're not your people anyway. You spend your time on you and healing and remembering your son. And when you get back, you tell them thank you." And I'm going to tell you, and she said, "I'm going to tell you another thing." And I said, "Yes." She goes, "Stop responding to texts. Stop answering. If you don't feel like it, then just don't. Just don't. You'll be back in your life one day. It's not today." And I needed that permission from someone who got it. She does the same
Yeah.
work I do. I just needed that permission
Yes.
to take the time away to heal. And so I did. I went into a cocoon. I went to a cocoon, and
I love it.
yeah,
That's great.
some days I got up and I just sat outside. I did get a wind chime. Someone bought me a wind chime,
Hmm.
which was absolutely my favorite gift because it's interactive, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
so we would I just sit out there and listen to him sing to me.
Yes. Do you know I say the same thing? Andy's singing. I've got three of them, and I'm just listening to Andy singing to me.
I love it. And it was time. Listen, we're busy. I'm a healthcare executive. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm right. We're busy. We're always going. And this is time that I took. The people in my life gave me permission. I work for a wonderful woman who said to me, "Don't call and check in. Don't check an email. Don't, we've got it.
Yeah.
When you come back, I want you to be the best version of the new you can be." Right. And so whatever that means for you, take
Yeah.
your time to do that. And so I just had wonderful people. Everyone doesn't have that, and I know
Yes.
that, but I'm so blessed and thankful for the people that I have, and I did that. And as I got ready to go back to work, I got two things. So one was a knock on the door, and I went, and there was this like biohazard container. It felt like COVID. It's 2023. It felt like COVID. And I said, "Gosh, what is this?" And I opened it, and it was ounces of the remaining ashes. We had art and things made from his ashes. So they had sent this. There was it was just like remains in there, but it just was presented so,
Yeah.
I don't know, ugly. It just
Yeah.
was packaged so ugly. And then I got a letter, and it came from the funeral home. I was actually, this was my second day back to work. And so I looked through them, and I opened it before I went in, and I thought, they know it's been a few months. I'm going back. They're just checking on me.
Hmm.
And it was his autopsy report. No warning, no. Now, I'm a nurse, so I understood every clinical sterile line of that, right? No mom should need to read how much her son's brain weighed. Ever. There's really no reason
Yeah.
for that to ever happen. And so I immediately thought the death care industry has to do better.
Yeah.
Right? You leave a hospital, you get a survey that at least says, how did we do? Right? Tell us,
Yeah.
tell us about our kid. Like I got from you ashes packaged as like some virus and an autopsy with no warning.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing I thought, this is terrible. This is so clinical and cold and sterile. It's terrible. And then a few weeks later was Mother's Day.
Mhm.
So I have to tell you, and you and your listeners are going to greatly appreciate this. I was in Marshall's this week, and already the Mother's Day signs are out. You know, the banners. You know, don't forget. But it felt very different in 2023. I mean, it still feels different today, right?
Yeah.
And I had so much anxiety about that day because Mother's Day was going to look very different for me. I had been
Right.
struggling with the answer to the question. You know, people always ask you this in casual conversation, how many children do you have?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I never thought that was a
A difficult question. No.
yes. You
No.
right? You would never think
No.
that.
Uh-uh.
I
You know what I've
and
replaced it with now? Just so you know.
what's that?
And now I say is tell me about your family.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Because
Whatever
now you
that
can go
means.
there, right. You can talk about your sister, you can talk about your dog. I mean, it doesn't like you can talk about your kids then.
That's right.
It doesn't it how many kids do you have is hard.
Word. And it took me a while to learn how to answer that with grace.
Yeah.
But Mother's Day was tough. I mean, the whole idea was tough and anxiety producing. And so that weekend, I got the amazing gift of my mother and sister and niece all flying down from Ohio,
Mhm.
and my daughter and my son's girlfriend coming over, and they converged with all of this Hales memorabilia, like reminders of Darius. So they brought
Oh,
Darius into the weekend.
oh, I love that. I love that.
Uh, and I said then, everyone should have this. And
Yeah.
it didn't exist. So we built it.
Yeah.
It's just what we did, right? The peace of having the freedom to acknowledge that he wasn't there while acknowledging that he was at the same time was just so meaning. So it was such an emotion filled weekend, but I was surrounded by people who loved me, and I was able to over and over and over again tell stories about him, laugh about him and things that he did, and the time he got grounded for this, and the time that he right, we were able to tell all the tales safely, and that was a turning point in my healing journey for me. I'm going to talk about him. I'm going to talk about him. I'm going to bring him up at moments that other people might not. I'm going to let them know that it's safe to do that. And
Yes.
if they're uncomfortable, they'll just have to deal with
Right. Right. That's their problem, not yours, right?
and it changed the way I recognized how to live moving forward with this loss. And so I have spent the last 3 years
Uh-huh.
really just doing that.
Yeah. So talk about your organization now and what it's called and what you do and
So we are timely presence. And so that name is really rooted in what I think is important. My family came on Mother's Day weekend, right?
Mhm.
They were present right on time, right? That's
Yeah.
right when I needed them. And so, since that time I've gone on and I I became a certified grief counselor to really understand
Yeah.
the psychology behind grief and what it looks like, what helps, what hurts, the pathology of complicated grief, and really learned that. I got my MBA in entrepreneurial studies to build a business in his honor. And so, and at Timely Presence, what we know from the research is that we know this as grieving mothers: can any day can be a day, right?
Yeah.
Any day
Right.
can be a day. But there's some days that are more predictable. So we know
Right.
that. Andy's birthday,
Which is next week, by the way.
oh,
Week from today.
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
August is a tough month for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
The holidays, and for me, his birthday's Christmas Day.
Yeah. That's double whammy.
And he died January 3rd. So the whole season
I was
is,
gonna say that whole 10 days here, it's got to be really, really hard.
you know
Hmm.
what we do? We take a holiday. We just leave. We
Yeah.
leave and we go on vacation. We take ashes of his. So he gets to go and experience wherever we are. And we've just redefined what Christmas in my house is no longer a tree at home, and that's okay. It
Hmm.
is somewhere experiential where we can take Darius to do the things he did never got the chance to do, and for us it's a new ritual and it's healing and it's great. We take the kids and it's great.
I love that. I love that.
It's
That's
great.
beautiful. Hmm.
But for timely presence, so what we do is on those predictable days that we just talked about, the holiday season, the anniversary of loss, we send heirloom quality gifts. And I say this all the time: our gifts are not sad. Our gifts are
Yeah.
not sad. They can sit in any shelf, they can sit in your office, they can sit anywhere, and they are reminders of love.
Yeah.
So we send a wind chime on the birthday, precisely for what we just spoke about. To me, it's the best gift. It's interactive.
I love
It's
wind chimes. I just absolutely love them. Hmm.
during the holiday season, we send a crystal votive candle holder.
Okay.
And so it's light, right? It's just a reflection of light.
I love that you do that too, because I have gotten from many people Christmas ornaments. They will give you Christmas ornaments.
For sure. Mhm.
And I now this year I did put up a tree, but this is the first year that I've put up a tree with our family ornaments on it, really. I
Mm,
haven't done that before. I've
yeah.
put up a tree a couple of times, but only with stuff that I just got from Hobby Lobby, nothing with any nothing too personal and hard. So getting those Christmas ornaments
Mhm.
has been, then it just makes you feel a little guilty that you are
That's
not
right.
up to putting up a tree. So I really admire you for not doing that and
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
falling into kind of that trap that I think can happen. And I love the idea of you having light,
Yeah. Yeah.
having light be a part of it. That's
That's
huge.
that's right. Since we do Christmas on holiday,
Yeah.
um, and so much of our society now doesn't live with their people travel all the time. So I just
Yeah.
thought it made sense. Plus, I wanted to be, we have friends that are Jewish
Well,
and
of
and
course.
and
And not
right,
everyone
right.
celebrates it anyway,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
that's
Hmm.
right. And
Hmm.
so I wanted it to make sure that it was applicable to anyone. The first gift that we sent is a beautiful engraved wooden memory box. And I decided on that because just after the services, you have all these things. You've got photos out. You have cards that he made for you as a kid. You have the obituary. You may have a flower from the services. Like, where do you put all of those things so that they're easy to get when you want them and hold them close, but you can keep them safe and locked away? And so,
Can I tell you the answer to that in my house is that they have
yes.
been sitting in a box in my living room. And
Mhm.
now they're sitting in a box behind the chair in my living room, but they still are sitting in a box in my living room. And that's not where they should be. And I know that, but it's so hard to
Yeah, that's right.
like first of all, they just were in a pile and then one of my friends came and put them in a very neatly, put everything neatly in a box. But there are a lot of things. I mean,
Mhm.
Andy donated his cornea, so there's something from for that and there are different things that would be beautiful to put in a memory box and not in a cardboard box sitting in my living room,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So, I tell you that means a lot to
Yeah.
me.
We have really tried to be so intentional. What would have helped me? My neighbor lost her husband of 50 years 3 months after I lost my son. So we walked our journey together.
Uh-huh.
And what would have been helpful to her? I have, another close colleague who lost her son on New Year's Eve. And so, to your point, I've really tried to think of our gifts as
Yeah.
things that add value, that aren't just dust collectors, right?
Yeah.
Because that's a terrible thing too, right? What what do I do with this thing that so they're usable? They can go on a shelf and they just look like they belong there. It doesn't look
Yeah.
like something that's
Right. Right. Yeah.
brief centric. And the final gift, which is a fan favorite, is a crystal photo
Yeah.
keepsake. It's 3D. It's like
I
they're
saw
looking at
that.
you.
Oh my
And
Lord,
that's
that's so amazing.
so great. It comes on the anniversary of the death, which is a tough day, right? That
Oh
that
yeah.
that first one is tough,
Yeah.
tough. And so it's like they're with you. My aunt, actually, my cousin died last October, and we sent her this. She sleeps with it. She says,
Oh.
I take it with me it's like Junior's looking at me, right? And so I talk to it. It's just become her thing. And she said it gives me comfort. It's my way of keeping him with me. And so, for the person who loves someone who's grieving,
Yeah.
this is what we know. It's difficult for someone to keep track of Andy's birthday, and
Yeah.
they're doing their Mother's Day thing. So to remember to reach out to you on Mother's Day and at Christmas and on the anniversary of his death. And so we've really tried to build something that allows the people who love you
Hmm.
to be present with you on the journey
Yeah.
without putting the burden of all the work on them, right? We
Right.
handle the logistics. We send them a notice so that they know Andy's birthday is next Tuesday, so that
Uh-huh.
they can call or text if they want. But regardless, the wind chime is showing up on the day as a reminder to you that you're not alone.
I just love that.
And
Sorry, I'm getting all emotional, but it's just
yeah,
so beautiful what you're doing and it just makes I talked to you about this before we started recording about how important it is to kind of feel seen, right? And I
that's
and
right.
I think it's easy to not feel seen and I remember back to those firsts and
Mm.
it's so hard and nobody knows what to do and nobody knows how to handle it and I just think you give people such a gift to, do it well.
Mm.
You know,
Mhm.
I I don't know. I really, really just think it's beautiful what you've been doing.
We have a culture that um, I've been saying this a lot lately. We have a culture that's built on the rituals around death, right? I mean, we've got hospice and death doulas and all these things that happen as someone is getting ready to die. Then you have the funeral and all those things, but there's nothing to support their survivors. We don't have anything in our culture that does
No.
that well. And so people are really left to feeling alone, forgotten. And you know this as a provider. the rates of isolation, depression, health conditions, heart disease, all of those things are increased in that period when the data says people feel the most alone between 3 and 6 months after the death.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because people stop talking about it.
Yeah. I feel like 6 months is, in some ways, especially for child loss, I think, in some ways, I think you don't even start feeling it until 6 months
That's right.
because there's so much numbness and disbelief going on in those first 6 months that you don't even know what's going on.
That's right.
And when you hit that point, it's about when you start to feel it more because your body's been protecting you and making you numb. And I think that 6 month point is the point where the rest of the world thinks, all right, it's been 6 months. Things are starting to get better. And
That's
I
right.
really, truly feel like that's when things are starting to get worse.
Yeah, that's right.
Just because
it's true.
you just are feeling it more.
That's the absence is so noted now, right? You've now missed events.
Yes.
And you know that.
And
Right.
this is really happening. I mean, so much of waking up in the morning, those first months after, are like, what? This is my life? There's so much disbelief. I think especially when it's a child, especially.
I said to my husband just Sunday, we had a date day, and I looked at him and I said, forever is such a long time. It's a concept that I said, can you believe that Darius is coming back? He said, it's just every day it's unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And through this work, people have said to me, I don't want to remind them.
Oh. That is such a silly thing. That is such a ridiculous thing to say as a brave person. Like, what? They remember. You do not need to remind them. Okay? Like, you think I don't know that Andy's birthday is next Tuesday? Of course I do.
Right.
Of course I do. And it will only make my heart a little happy if somebody sends me something and says, I'm thinking about him today.
Right.
Because he died at 14 and now he's going to be 22. That's a long time.
A long time.
That's a long time. And I don't know that anybody's going to send me a message on Tuesday. I don't know. Because it's been so long now.
That's right.
But if they do, they won't be making me sad. They'll be making me think, oh my word, somebody remembered.
Somebody remembered. The thing I can't forget.
Yeah.
Someone remembered that thing, that person, that love I can't forget.
Right. Because I will never forget. I will never forget.
I don't want to.
No.
I don't want to forget. When I'm senile.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm responsible for keeping his memory and legacy alive. That's my job.
Right.
That's my job.
Right.
So I'm sorry if it makes you uncomfortable.
Especially when your child died without, having children of their own and things like that. It does feel more like it's your job to keep their memory alive a little more. They don't have somebody else that will.
That's right.
That lives on after them. Right? It's you.
It's exactly right. So while our premise, our service, what we offer right now is a year of these touch points at these critical moments. My bigger hope is that we are opening the discussion to exactly what you talked about, that people are not afraid. They're not afraid to have these discussions. I thought about you. So my son, his friends are now getting married. They're having children, all those things that he did do. And, his best friend purchased a home recently. And he took a framed photo of Darius to his closing.
Oh.
Because they said there's no way that I would have bought a house and he would not have been here, right? He would have been our guy.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing this moment without him.
Oh, that's beautiful.
No, Do you know how much I loved that?
I know. And here you are sobbing over it, right? But you are so happy that he did
So
it.
happy. So happy.
I know. I know.
And so, I think about you, and you've lived through Andy's graduation, his prom day and his
Yeah.
graduation day and all those moments. And how do we empower the people that are closest to you, inform them, educate them, support them, and knowing that it's okay to say,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Today's
I just
tough.
I just think it's beautiful. I hope someday you're able to move on and do gifts after,
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
second year and the fifth year
Yeah.
and all those things.
That's
It would be
right.
wonderful if you could keep expanding it out because
Mhm.
I just think it's beautiful. I love it so much. I if I haven't said it enough, I really, really do. And I was so excited to have you on
You
today. So
have.
thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing,
Yes.
Darius. Thank you for sharing your wonderful story here. And again, it's Timely Presence, right? Is that
Yes.
your website name too, or what's your website name?
Our website is thetimelypresence.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
And presence, CE, like being present, not like
Yes.
the present, even though you are giving presents.
That's
Um,
right.
so anyway, we'll make sure to let people know about that and how, because I feel like as bereaved people, we're going to be the most likely people
Yeah.
to buy those things for other bereaved people, right? Because we get it and we understand.
That's right. You get it. That's right. That's right. So thank you for sharing Andy's story and just what you're doing with this platform. I know how healing it is. And so,
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's healing. It's so funny. I've talked to somebody recently about this, Stephanie, about how you need to find a new purpose in your life.
Mhm.
And oftentimes when you're grieving, you find a new purpose and you want your child all wrapped up in it. And that's what I thought about with Timely Presence is
Mhm.
that this is your new purpose
That's right.
and Darius is all wrapped up in it.
That's right.
Just like the podcast is my purpose and Andy's all wrapped up in it.
That's
So
right.
thank you for wrapping Darius all up in it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. If you found this helpful and would like to support the podcast, please leave a 5-star rating and comment. To help financially, you can type Andy's Mom, one word, to the number 53555. This provides a link to GiveButter, which allows donations through PayPal, Venmo, Apple Pay, or credit cards. GiveButter will provide a receipt of your tax-deductible donation, or you can visit the donation page at andysmom.com/donate. Always Andy's Mom is a registered 501c3 and can receive donations through Thrivent Financial and Benevity. Marcy loves hearing from listeners. Please feel free to reach out to her via email at marcy@andysmom.com or on the Instagram or Facebook Always Andy's Mom accounts. Sign up for the email list to get weekly episode links as well as pictures of Marcy's guests and their children. Together, let's work to inspire hope, one day at a time.